Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello, audience. How are you out there today? Today is a Thursday, and this is Operation Status Quo, and we are here together once again. Can you imagine if I just started doing every show like that? Let me know in the comments if you would like me to just speak like that the entire time for every show, and I'll just go, hello, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about a topic, and that topic is this, and now we are going to talk about it. How we doing out there, guys? How you feeling? Let me give you another round of applause. I don't know. Let's just get it pumped up. Let's feel good. Hey-o. That's what we like to do here on Operation Status Quo. Don't you feel good just from that? I mean, I should just do that for 20 minutes or so and call it a day, right? Instead of trying to actually share some sort of information out there. Well, hello and welcome. I am Pete Palma, your user-friendly host right here on Operation Status Quo. And of course, this is Operation Status Quo, and this is the space. If you haven't been here before, thank you so much for tuning in today, where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. I have to ask this, though, for people who watch this like regularly, you got to let me know in the comments, like, because I say that every time when I start the show, Operation Status Quo, blah, 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 and the place we observe, and we do, like, can you repeat that in your sleep? You wake up sometimes, like, in a sleep, and you watch this show every day, and then you're sleeping, and all of a sudden you wake up, observe the status quo of life, flow with the quo, create our own flow of quo. It's like the same thing, like, over and over. So, but you have to, that's the whole point. I mean, that's what this show is. So I have to explain what the hell's going on. And, even for those of you that are here all the time, of course, it's wonderful, but I still have to, at least let people know what the hell we're doing here a little bit. And we're observing life, and then we're deciding, like, hey, we don't have to deal with this nonsense. We can do what we want to do. It's all about personal empowerment, self-responsibility, feeling good, gratitude. Woo! Yeah, that's what we do here. And it is a Thursday, right? So we're getting to the end of the week, and I mean, tomorrow's Friday, and then we can go from there. I'm sure you know how the days go. The week, there's only 7 of them, and they kind of repeat themselves, so it goes on and on and on. Don't forget to turn your clocks back this weekend, though, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday night, I guess, into Sunday morning. Obviously, our clocks go back, so as a public service announcement, let me remind everyone out there, don't forget to set your clocks back an hour, otherwise you will be late for whatever you're going to do the next day, okay, on Sunday. All right, here we go. Today is the 2nd of November in the good year 2023, and today's program is entitled Workworld USA. Yeah. Guys, I speak on this sometimes because my job is just so perplexing to me, and I really look forward to the time to, I don't know how it's going to play out that I can finally be free. I'm blessed. I always talk about this. I work from home, and for those that don't know, I really don't want to get into, I've said this before, so you can go back on multiple shows and watch, but I do contracts, I write, and procurement. I'm a purchasing person. It's called a contract specialist for the federal government. I'm not going to get into where my duties lie at this time, but I've been with a few organizations over the course of my career. And anyway, it's a horrible career. It's just horrible, disgusting work. There's no, I've never liked it. I started in 2008. Never liked it. Of course, it's government, so you have good benefits, and you have your check, and you have your vacation time, and your holidays, and blah, blah, blah. So, and it's funny, I will say this because in a way, I feel like a wuss that I've always held on to this job. It's kind of twofold. One part of it is, whatchamacallit, just the fear of you have to pay bills and survive, right? You have a job, you're making money. The other side of it is I feel like, because of that, that's why I'm so glad COVID happened, because I never would be, I'm really at the precipice now of, well, I'll get to that in a second. But what I'm saying, I always felt that I gave up in a way, like, and just kind of, what are you gonna do? You have to work, you have to make money. So, forget the things that you like to do, and all that. And, I never some people don't care, right? Some people who want to be, artists in certain ways, look back, I say, I could have pushed and got little radio jobs here or there, probably, right? If I would have just, really got into it in that kind of regard instead of just, becoming working for the government. And I never sought out to work for the government. Just to make a long story unnecessarily long. I was actually well, this came off another transition. I was working like a warehouse job, and then I went back and got my degree and finished that out. I had gotten like halfway through college, but then went back and finished to become a teacher. I thought being a teacher would be a great way to be creative and be able to give back to community and be part of something that I felt was useful. But it was very difficult to actually get in as a teacher. I did 1 year where I was I was a teacher at a private school for a year. Anyway, and it just never panned out to get into the public, and blah 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 blah. And during that time that I was trying to get a full-time teaching job, the government opportunity popped up, and at that point in my life, I thought, I've been chasing all the time between I used to DJ and I used to bartend and blah blah blah. So I'm so tired of chasing every buck, you know what I mean? So back then, I kind of just sold my soul, and went and worked for the government. And then to say now, when I was talking about COVID, like how beautiful when COVID happened, it really freed me. That's when I started doing my show again, which was. And even when I started the show, it was on, what's the other one? Twitch. I started on Twitch, actually, and with YouTube, I was only taking little clips, and posting them on YouTube, and I was doing the full show live on Twitch, and blah, blah, blah. And then, I don't know why I'm telling you all this. It really doesn't matter. But I just tried to say COVID happened, and, it reinvigorated me in my idealistic ways. And I started really thinking, like, I realized I did give up, things, I shouldn't have been such a wimp in a way. Like, I should have just kept pushing for what I really wanted to do. But yeah, I mean, that's like, I talk about not being afraid. I'm showing my vulnerability as well. I'm saying we're all human. That's why I talk the way I talk now about trying to encourage people to do what they really want to do, because I've gone through it myself where I've, kind of felt, I don't know, or, and just gave up. Not say gave up, but yeah, in a way, gave up. Just took what I could get, even though it's good. People think, oh, wow, that's amazing. You work for the government, you have a nice check and and all this stuff. And it's just like, well, yeah, maybe, but I mean, it's totally unfulfilling and soulless and horribly stressful, the way that, the environment is, on people. So, anyway, that brings me to talking today about the work world. And let me just say, like, of course, I'll focus on my area of expertise, this job that I have now, and just how the dynamics of the office, and the way our world is today, and the dumbing down of our population, and the total inefficiency and lack of, like, everybody's just doing shit because they're afraid, not because, like, of any real reason, So, but, this obviously is across the board, I'm sure. I see it myself and even in the service industry. If I go out to a restaurant, like, I mean, not everybody, but most of the wait staff that I've encountered, especially here, in Florida, they're good, but, just these younger people, they don't want to talk, like, I don't know how you're going to wait tables, if you want to hide your face and not talk. And I think I see it the most, like, in the grocery stores, like the younger people, they're just afraid to look up, afraid to talk. I don't know how good of a job they do as far as stocking the shelves and everything else. It just seems like everything's like a step down, like, in quality than things used to be. Like, I'm pretty, overall just want to see, I really don't care. Everything should just be efficient. Whatever the job has to be to get things done is great. But, I'm just about, efficiency. So speaking on, I made a couple notes about things that I've noticed that are going on in my current job that really kind of stuck out to me. And I guess it started last week when this big boss of the organization, he does like a town hall meeting thing once a month or whatever the case is. And he comes on and he talks, I mean, literally for close to 3 hours with a PowerPoint presentation to show what the organization's doing and how it's growing. And then he gets into all this, like, listen, I'm older now, right? Like, so I don't know, maybe I take it that way. He's probably around my age, this guy, but talking to young workforce, up and coming, within the organization. And, he's always with this, like, about, telling people, trying to teach them about, accountability. You got to be accountable. I mean, just not that being accountable is bad. You should be accountable. But the point I'm making is he goes on this whole long explanation of, like, listen, man, like, this is like character stuff. Either a person, has character enough to fulfill their task and has self-responsibility and accountability, or they don't. Like your way of trying to scare them into it, the way and again I'm paraphrasing and just kind of trying to lump it all together into a few sentences overall, but he went on to this last time he went on about efficiency, just saying this thing about efficiency, and and I thought to myself, like, you're the leader, you're the boss of this like whole organization, you're the one that should be understanding efficiency, and being in that position, you should be able to orchestrate the climate as such that it is efficient, right? I mean, like a 3-hour meeting to talk about efficiency is not efficient. The point is, if things are efficient, you don't need the 3-hour meeting, right? I mean, if it's efficient, it's already efficient. It speaks for itself. You don't have to try to talk about efficiency because you just be efficient, right? And I realized this too, like recently, especially with this organization, because it's it's a work from home thing. The organization's been around a really long time, but they just started more so with remote work. So this whole group that I'm with is like this big, new thing of all this remote work, and they're trying to put all the pieces together. But I think the government work it's like purposeful obfuscation, just like they do with everything else. Like the narratives they tell you that's going on in the world politically, that's a lie, right? I mean, just all the narratives are always lies. And so why would it not be inherently built into the system of the government itself, as far as the workforce, that it's purposefully done to just create confusion and have people spinning their wheels, running all around, with never any real solid basis for completing a task, and again, I'm saying I work in contracts. We purchase things, right? So I mean, how complicated is this? Like, if you go to you want to buy something, you make a list, you go to the store, you get what you need, right, type thing. Or if you're in the market for a certain item, like even if it's a big item, you want to buy a boat or something, you're going to go look at boats and research boats, and like understand what kind of motors, and figure it out, what you need for what your thoughts are, what you want, and what's out there and how to do, and you would just go buy it. You go buy it. Making a sound decision. They pay all these people all this money, to be purchasers in a sense, and yet they make you jump through hoops to get anything done, especially as far as like price justification. They have all these rules. It's like, because it's taxpayer dollars, so everything has to be price justification. And the thing is, like, well, and sometimes there's no way really to justify the price. Like, this is what it is. This is what it costs in the market. I mean, sometimes it's a specialized service or something that it's inherent to the to a government need, and it's not necessarily commercial. So how do you judge? The point is, like, why are they not? If it is real, which it's not, why wouldn't you? Which is why they don't, because it's not real. But why wouldn't you, trust the people that you're paying? If you're going to pay somebody X amount of dollars, to do that job, and then you're basically saying, well, we're giving you all that money. This is the job, but we don't trust you, at all. So, like, you can't really do the job, I mean, it's so perplexing of how, and I'll use this as an example. The organization I worked with in Philadelphia, before I moved and left there, my office started with like 24 people. It was like 24 of us when I got hired. And there was 3 of us that got hired at once. So before that, right, we just do a little subtraction, 21. And then so 24 people, and our office did, I don't know, like that year, that second year, like $1 billion in contracts that we purchased stuff. $1 billion, right? Can you imagine? And then by the time I left that organization, it was up to like 150 people working there. And they were like bringing in like, 600,000, and it's just like, I mean, you hired like more, I mean, quadruple, I mean, the staff, and you have like less production, right? So they just created like all these people that they hired, as I noticed, as the organization grew, it was just more levels to get through to actually get the thing done. So, you're better off with just a couple people to get it done. It'd be like hiring a painter, and the painter stands at the truck, and then somebody has to pass somebody's up on the ladder, say, and then the bucket of paint is like, at the truck, and somebody dips the brush in the paint on the truck, and then they pass it to one person, who passes it to another person, who passes it to another person, who gives it to the guy up in the ladder, and he goes like this a few times, and then he has to hand the brush back down and give it to that guy and give it to that guy and give it back to the guy at the truck so he can dip it again. and then back up the ladder. It's like that's like what they're doing. It's the craziest. It's just so crazy. So this guy really. I can tell that's the thing. Like a lot of these guys in this kind of environment, they all got their titles and they're all like whatever, and they don't offer anything. Like, what are you like providing? Like, don't bring like your big speeches to the table. Like, what are you bringing to the table? You're like your big boss. You should just have like, here, this is what we're doing. You should understand efficiency. Like, to me, I always say, if I was in charge, I wouldn't, it'd be taken care of in 2 seconds, because I would just say, no, F these rules because they're stupid. And, let's practically look at what our need is that we have to purchase and make sure we're getting a fair value for, that purchase. I know there's a lot of crime and they're always trying to, that's a whole nother story, but, it's just integrity in general, you know what I mean? Like, and practicality, again, these things that, humans aren't taught. And then you got the younger people that are coming up, especially these younger people that are, new to government work, and not on top of it, it's totally remote. I've talked to a multitude of people at this job. They're just like lost in space. They're just out there on their own. They, and they try so hard. That's the thing. I feel bad for them. Is like they try so hard. They're online all day. They're calling. They're trying to figure it out. Afraid they're going to get in trouble. And it's just like I just do the total opposite. I'm like, well, I'm here. I'm here. Give me a buzz. Hey, you guys want to talk? I gotta go on YouTube for a little bit. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Hey, when you guys figure something out over there, let me know and I'll help out, all right? Hey-o. But it's the truth. It is the truth. Right now, this is your taxpayer dollars at work. And I've spoken on this before, too. It's a disgrace. When you think about all the jobs that are out there and how many of them are federal jobs, which means what? They come from taxpayer dollars. So, all the people being taxed, for who are really working, got to give all their money away to, pay people like I say a joke, people like me, but seriously, I sometimes I wish the job would just go away. Like, that's why I look forward to. I hope the government just shuts down, that these guys can't come to any kind of resolution moving forward, or the total economy crashes and the jobs are just gone. Like, would it be a struggle or something? Sure, but it would be a great way for me to get out of it without feeling like I made a mistake and quit, because that's the hard part. Like, in my mind, I'm already quit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'm already like on the other things in my life. I have ideas. I know exactly. I see what I want in the future. And but at the same time, like, you just never know. Like, you just never know. I have faith and I believe. I really do believe. And maybe but there is a part of me that's like, you don't want to be dopey either, because, like, is the world going to dramatically change that quickly, like all of it in a swoop, or is it going to be like a play out over years? And, maybe I can just kind of like, slide my way out a little slower, as opposed to, being so, because, like, ultimately, between the conspiracy stuff and everything else, like, I believe certain things. But the world's been this way for forever in a way. And, like, is it really going to change, or, are we really going to be free? I hope so. I believe it. I think we are. And maybe it won't be in our lifetime. Maybe this is the start of something that by the time, 2-3 generations down the line, and it really is a whole new world. And this is like, the growing pains. I don't know. I really do think we're going to see some beautiful things, over the next, especially by the end of this, decade. I know it sounds like it's like, how long can it go? But, things take time, right? Nothing's just flip a switch, and it's too much to just all of a sudden. You can't just always just pull the plug on totally everything, right? And then start, because it's too much confusion. The system's too integrated. It would cause a lot of problems, basically, right? Let's see. Hold on. Let me get in, because I did make some points. I want to make sure that I get to those. And one of the things that I had mentioned, I guess I was just kind of getting to that, is like, the job is so much about like covering your ass all the time. They're just worried about, that kind of thing, as opposed to actually getting to work. Like, the whole job is about, especially from like the leadership, say, and I don't even want to fault them. They're doing a job, they're people. I get it. Like, it's just, it is what it is. It's like people want to feel important. They don't even know who they are. They get some job and they think do, and I'm ba ba ba, and I'm doing rah rah rah, and all that nonsense. And it's just like, come on, man, you're not even doing anything of value. You're just like freaking talking shit, pushing papers around, papers that don't mean anything, worrying about how you're going to set up a checkbox on a sheet for a checklist or, just stupid shit, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like everything's about spreadsheets and tracking, and you don't need spreadsheets and tracking. Just do the freaking work. If we just here's the stuff, go get it and we buy it. Like what do we don't spreadsheets and tracking and routing sheets and it's just it's just stupid. It's just so stupid and inefficient, and I don't understand why other people don't want to just go enjoy their life. Why do you want to be a slave to this all day long? It's great. You spend 2-3 hours. That's enough, right? Do a little something, move it on to the next thing, and go spend time with your kids. Go for a swim in the pool. By the way, it's a little chilly the last couple days here in Florida. Only in the 70s for the high temps, and I did go swimming today, and it was nice. I mean, I did a good half hour of my little dipsy do, as I like to call it, swimming around, and but it was chilly. I have to say, my fingers were a little numb when I came out. But as long as I can get in that pool, if the sun's not out, the sun's out. So the sun shining on me while I'm swimming makes a difference. Otherwise, it might be a little bit too chilly. But anyway, I know you're not interested so much in my swimming patterns, right? All right, let's see here. What else was the other thing? Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Let me do this one first, just as a good example. I was speaking to a customer yesterday who has a new purchase, right? So I started to talk to him and ask him. I say, okay, so what's do you have a statement of work? So what you want. Some people call it a performance work statement, whatever you want to call it. But statement of work, what are you buying? What do you need? Do you have what is your intended start and end dates of this contract and blah blah blah. And then he goes on to tell me, he's like, well, I'll be quite candid with you. I really don't know anything. I don't know what we need. I don't know how many of them we need. I don't even know if we can do it because doing this is contingent upon this other contract being awarded first. And if that doesn't happen, then we can't do this one. But my higher ups, they're on me all the time asking me the status of this. And I'm just like, am I out of my mind? It's like if somebody was doing that to me and busting my balls about status on something, I'd be like, hey, do you see what's going on? You go to the other people and find out about the other contract and make sure that's going to get awarded. And when that's done, then you can do the next step. I mean, you guys are already trying to go a step ahead of where you even are. And then that's the thing, then they put pressure on people, and then people are stressed and they're all day long worried about they're going to get in trouble because why can't they get this done? That's just nonsense to me. The guy I don't fault him. He's in the middle. They're telling him to, they're giving him the information to take it to contracts. And I'm just and the guy's like, what, he doesn't know what he wants. I have no idea. I mean, I can't tell you a damn thing. I just need you to go buy it. You know what I mean? So it's some sort of services. I won't, bore you with the details, but anyway, and it's just okay, you need this service, but you have no idea the quantity, the quality, the what, all the parameters of it. Again, going back to the paint, it's like saying, well, I need to paint my house. I have no idea what color. I have no idea, what kind of paint. I have no idea how much paint I'm going to need. I don't even know the size of the house. I just know I need the house painted. I mean, that kind of leaves things open for mistakes to happen, don't you think? And then I want to mention also that this organization too, now with this new way of the world, obviously, really trying to always send emails out about focusing on your home life. And remember, it's important to take time and use your leave and take breaks and blah, blah, blah. And then I got off the phone with this other guy today who I'm working with on something. And he was off a little bit last week. And I said, I saw you. Yes, you were off last week. I hope you enjoyed your time. And then we started having a conversation, and he told me 2 stories where he's been denied his leave when he wanted to take it because they told him it was too busy and he couldn't take off, right? And then another time when he was actually on leave and they told him he had to come back and they were taking the hours back, he couldn't use the hours. And I was just like, man, did that make the hair on the back of my neck stand up? I was like, what? It's the kind of stuff that infuriates me, because I told him, I said, oh man, I've never had that happen. I said, if somebody tried to do that to me, I said, we'd be down in HR having a conversation. I said, I hate to be I'm really not one of those guys. First of all, it's your leave, man. You can use it whenever you want, however you want. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. The only time that it's ever been a problem is in September, because September is the end of the fiscal year, and the contracts that have expiring money, and they have to be completed by the end of September. So a lot of times it was frowned upon, and they really wouldn't let you take time off in September. But all the other times, fine. And if there's something that big going on, then it is what it is. Like, you know how many times shit gets held up for God knows how long. You're trying to work it, and then all of a sudden, your vacation comes up. Like for this guy, your vacation comes up, and all of a sudden they finally gave you the document that you were asking for 6 weeks ago, and now you can't go on vacation because you got to do the. Hey, I waited for 6 weeks for you to send me this document. Now it's here, and I'm supposed to cancel my vacation. I mean, I feel bad for this guy. He's a younger guy too. Who would cancel their vacation to say, "Oh, I can't now. I'm too busy." Unless you're like a freaking, brain surgeon or something, right? That you're needed, and like, oh my God, there's a traumatic injury. We really, you're the only one that can save this person. We need you to come in. All right, I'll leave the golf course for a couple hours and put this guy's brains back together. I mean, if it's valuable, it's not. I understand, but this kind of administrative bullshit that we do, it's just like unbelievable, And like I say, that's what I put kind of in the description about what I was talking about today, like the lack of efficiency, the lack of communication, the weakened, whatever I put in there, weakened expectations. It's like, because nobody expects anything, and because nobody can say anything to anybody anymore because it's offensive, and so it's like twofold. It's one, everybody's just like scared, covering their ass, but nobody really, like that guy talking about accountability, like I said in the beginning, he talked about, but nobody's holding anybody accountable really. This is like, it's all like freaking sideways bullshit talk, man, with nothing getting done. This is the focus and the main thing. And and everything in our world today is so inefficient. Like, even you got to call your cable company or your phone company or the gas company or whatever you got to call. You're on hold, and it's impossible to get somebody on the line. They always want to put you through a chat online, or they want you to use the website, or it's like you just can't connect to people and get things done. Like, just get things done. Everything's like, off to the sides instead. It's all like peripheral instead of like just getting to the heart of the matter and getting the shit done. You call somebody, this is the problem. Okay, I understand. We fixed the problem, blah, blah, and we're done. Instead of like, oh, you gotta, be on hold, talk to, oh, then we'll put you to this department. Oh, we'll send you an email, and then we'll check it tomorrow, and then we'll confirm it. I mean, come on, man. Just get the shit done. It's like hammering a nail. You put the nail, bop, 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 and the nail is in. That's it. You're done. You're on to the next thing. And to speak on that, lastly, I just wanted to mention, on top of it, like, just how, like, talking about like a dumbed down population. I apologize. I know that sounds mean, but I don't mean like people are dumb. It's just like they are trying to dumb people down, between the shit and the food and the video games and the technology, all that crap. I mean, the water, it's all fluoride in the water, everything, it's all part of it, like chemtrails. It's all part of everything to just like, stupefy everyone. Just like, ugh. So you just walk around drooling, doing whatever they say. They put out mandates, and then you say, oh, whatever they say, I do it, because you're scared to death if you don't know what's going to happen to you, instead of choosing to be what you want to be and go do it, So anyway, so they sent out these emails recently, two things, for, I guess during, I don't know, was it last month? I don't know, transgender stuff was being talked about, so they put out a whole email about how to understand genders and not to offend people, not to, classify anybody as a gender, how to approach people, to not offend them. And, I'm just saying, like, a whole, like, protocol and email, like, about that. And what was the other one? Oh, and then the other email came out the other day about with the flu season coming up, and don't forget, and, it's time for reminding federal employees, it's time to, get your COVID update vax, so, and I'm just like, man, oh man, like, it's like they have no interest in the people, they have no interest in the people, and it's just bullshit and propaganda. And even like within the federal workforce, man, like these are people working, like I'm sure a lot of people are proud. They feel like they're supporting their country and doing something. I'm sure they feel that way, but it's propaganda. That's why I don't support it. It is what it is. I'm there right now, and I'm barely there, but I'm there, and I really look at how I'm really mindful of, because I'm speaking like I would encourage it. Somebody was telling me, me, I would encourage them to say, listen, don't do anything rash, but understand what you want, look at what you have, and how can you use what you have to take yourself to the next space where you want to be. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And, I'm paying attention and I'm working on things. So I'll be free eventually. I mean, one way or another, I'll be free. They start giving me too much work, I'll probably just quit if they actually do hold me accountable and expect me to do something. It's like, then I guess I will quit. In the meantime, while they're printing cash like crazy, I guess I'll just quote unquote cash in for a little while longer. But anyway, I don't know. I encourage all you people out there to just find what resonates in your heart and do what you feel is best for you, even for your career, whatever job it is. We all have talents and skills, and it's not easy to start a business. It's not easy to build a following, whatever the case may be of what you're doing. But I really believe it can happen. That's why I'm so glad again to wrap this up from kind of how I started with, when COVID happened, it reinvigorated me. And, I never would have left. I never would have moved to Florida. I never would have left the job I had before. I still would have been, at least I quit that job and then was not working for a while. And then I wound up with this other job. So at least I'm kind of like I dipped my toes in quitting, and then I came back and I was like, all right, I think I really, so at least I'm working my way towards, breaking free, and I want to believe, I'm just speaking from myself too, because I know it's hard, and, I really want to believe in myself. I want to really trust in the universe, and, but I also don't want to, you want to make smart decisions. Again, don't do anything rash. You know what I'm saying? You still have to survive while the world is what it is right now. So, however to best do that with the means you have. That's what I would say, because, it's getting crazy out there, the day-to-day workforce. So, then with all these office buildings closing, and it's a whole new thing. I'm just saying, everything's changing. It's why I'm saying, it's just changing, and there's going to be so many more opportunities in different ways that we can't even imagine yet. I really believe it, and so just hang in there. Don't let your current job situation, if it gets you upset at all, don't let it bother you. Just do what feels good for you. That's what I'm trying to do. And in the meantime, it is what it is, as they say. Or as the one woman I used to work with back in my other job, she used to say, whatever it is, it be that. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this today. Let me know in the comments what you think about what we were talking about here today on Operation Status Quo. If you haven't done so already, please take the time to like, subscribe, share. Send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. I love each and every one of you out there individually as well as a group. God bless you. And until tomorrow, Operation Status Quo disengaged.